Welcome to Cage Minds. I'm Micah Frankel. We had so much fun the first time around. We had to bring back Shark Attack. Zach Calmus joining us, sir, fresh off another huge victory at BKFC 63. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your show.
Always a pleasure to get to talk to you. I need to know. I need to hear what that was like because the atmosphere, the scene, what we saw on TV, you got to be there. You got to soak it up. We saw you jawing back and forth with the fans right there by the entrance and exit way. It looked like a one of a kind experience in Sturgis.
It was unbelievable. Words can't put it to description. And I know that sounds cliche, and I don't want to be that, but it is true. It was the things you dream about, the dream fights, the dream cards, if you will. When you're thinking about competing at the pro level, this is it. This is the pinnacle of success with Conor McGregor there, and David Feldman and the whole crew, the whole BKFC crew, Ben Rothwell, just the whole building filled with talent. So being around all those great athletes helped me rise to that level.
Is it a different feeling? I know that when the whistle blows, when the horn goes off, you're focused. It's all a fight, but the sun, outdoors, that time of day. Did any of it feel different?
Well, I'll be truthful. Um, I've never fought outside before, both amateurly or professionally. I've never fought outdoors, but I live next to a baseball field, and we do a lot of my sparring outside in the camp. So I've had the pleasure of sparring a lot outside in the sun, not in the sun, and I've made that part of my bare knuckle training is to like spar outside, whether it's with Blake and we're doing it at the beach or we're doing it in the middle of the woods and we're avoiding trees because that rustic environment takes you into that warrior mindset needed to do bare knuckle. I mean, it's not boxing, but I think the difference in both sports is what makes them beautiful.
The night goes perfectly for you. Was it intentional from you to come out so much more offensive? We've seen you kind of break guys down, let things get into some deeper rounds, and there was some real attention to offense from you this time.
All credit to my coach, my new coach that I've been working with for this fight. As we saw, the advance. I went from 3 round fight at Mohegan to a 1 round fight right before the buzzer knockout. It's just it's the elevation of my group around me. I'm around the best gym, the best coaches. I'm on the best diet. They're making me bags of food and sending it home with me. So I have my meal prep, and my wife is making meal prep. So it's really just like, okay, here I am as a fighter. Like everybody can throw punches, but what are you doing that makes your punches so effective? Well, that's what 500 movements in the beach on the sand look like every morning. And that's what 10, 15 rounds of bag work until the hands don't work anymore will look like. I'm not talking about regular bag work. I go, like I hit that bag as hard as I physically can with no gloves, and I don't break fingers. So I imagine that I break faces pretty easily.
The right hook that finishes the job at that moment in the first round. It felt like it looked like it was right off the tip of the nose. It looked like
It
it
was a
was almost
left.
one of those. Oh, it was the left. It looked like it was one of those almost movie scene looking punches from when they showed it back in slow motion. If you've seen it, where it was like just right off the tip of the nose. Like, did you feel it was that accurate, that clean when you let it go?
That's where I was aiming. Um, that left hook, that particular left hook, is devastating, and I can land it very effectively. Um, so I did what we practiced. Me and Coach Dave, Champs of Banbury, AJ Galante, we worked on the left hook in training because we saw him open in that positioning. So it was all a game plan. I came in checked him out a little bit, threw some jabs, and I threw the right and I connected on the jaw. So once I felt the jaw with the right, I knew it was accessible. And I just flurried, landed a big overhand to knock him down. He got up from that, and I landed my other best punch being a left hook. So I landed two of my signatures, and I don't expect anybody to get up when I land flush.
When I talked to you last, you said that you had a conversation with BKFC about what the pursuit, the path to the title would be like. How many more fights? Where do you feel this fight puts you in that march to the championship?
Well, this all right. I didn't mean to cut you early. I was excited about the question. See that's a question right there. Is who is worthy of going overseas to fight Mick Terrell? Okay, now there's three or four guys that are definitely heavy hitters, that are worthy. There might be two guys that are thinking about. There might be four guys that are thinking about. Obviously, in the top five. You know what I mean? Uh, so I think what needs to happen is some type of competition to eliminate who gets the opportunity to go fight for the belt. You know what I mean? But I don't know that. I'm just saying what I think would be make sense. Business. I'm not on that side of the business. So if they tell me, two more wins and then you get a shot, then that's what it is. If they tell me, do this one more fight and then you go fight Mick, I'll do that. If they tell me go fight Mick next, I'm getting on a plane tomorrow. I would never turn down a title shot, no matter who the man is. You can never do that. I would never do that. I would come fight anybody full heartedly for the title shot or in the title match. That being said, it's all about how you aim your career. If that doesn't work out in my favor, I've already connected the dots. It's not a defeatist mindset. I already know where I'm going business wise before I fight the fight because I've already thought about if I win or lose because I'm comfortable in both. People have seen me, and my two losses have been fight of the night. So it's like I hold my head because I fight well. So that being said, I'm a fighter's fighter, and I think when I've set my career up this way, the endless possibilities. Sky's the limit. I could fight 6, 10, 20 more times for BKFC because I'm a company man. I have 10 years plus left. I'm only 33 years old and I have no injuries. I'm ready to go.
I know later on in the night after your fight, we still had a couple of heavyweight fights. At that point, do you get to watch them and enjoy things as a fan? Or are you still looking at Sam, looking at Josh, and kind of analyzing what they're doing, looking at
So,
them as potential opponents?
I'm honestly not even in that mindset, in that setting. I can't be. After that big of a fight, that big of a moment, I think I was screaming that I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to Disneyland. And I said I was going to get on the Superman. That's a Six Flag ride. And I said we're going to take off. I was just all over the place. Multiple theme parks running through my brain. That kind of shows where I was at. So the mind didn't even go there before, during, or after because, listen, uh, those guys are monsters. They're gonna fight who they're gonna fight. With the BKFC gonna make that decision, not me. And I think everybody in that top four category knows exactly how I feel about it. I'm extremely humble. You know, they're all monsters. I'm taking a risk fighting any one of them. I'm nervous of all the top four guys. I'm the only heavyweight in the top five that'll I'll tell you the truth that I am nervous to fight Burns. I am nervous to fight Shoemaker. I would be nervous to fight Rothwell, but I'm telling you right now, I'm definitely scared of those guys. But this being said, fear makes you perform at a higher level. When you're nervous of your opponent, opposed to just sitting there saying, it's another fight. I'm a tough guy, I've taken a shot. Yeah, it's all true. But how do you want to prepare for this battle if so fed these people? If I was gonna fight any one of the guys in the top five, and I haven't yet, I've only fought below that. If I fought at a top caliber, I would just have to commit everything I am as a man to that camp, and really I'd have to make a decision. You know what I mean? If it was good for me, good for my health, good financially. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into deciding on a potential, life changing, good or bad, a fight? Are you fighting for money? Are you fighting uh, for longevity? Are you fighting for your family name? I mean, I'm fighting for a lot of things, so I got to really think about that. I want to stay around a long time.
I feel like that conversation has to be coming then with the streak you're on, with the role you've been on in the company now, 4 in a row in bare knuckle. That conversation has to be coming. So you're there, you're thinking about all these theme parks. I see you're already back at home. Did we get a little vacation in between now and then?
So I'm back. I'm doing stuff right now. By obligation, by contractual obligation, I'm not going to say anything, but I'm working on something already. I just got back from practice. I drove 6 hours today to practice and train. I got sparring next week. I'm flying out Wednesday morning tomorrow for Kansas for BKFC. I'm coaching at the event, and after that, I'm right back into camp. So I'm not gonna take my foot off the gas. There's no point in that. I took no damage. I didn't even get a scratch in my last fight. So this this next opportunity is gonna be huge. And then after that, there'll be another huge opportunity. And I'm pretty much booked for the next I have a multitude of opportunities with bare knuckle.
When you're going out to an event, like you said, you'll be this weekend after fight night. Do you take a look at the card? Is there anything that you see on there that gets you excited because you're going to be there? So might as well enjoy the festivities.
Well, you know what? That's really cool that you asked that because when I coached Mikey last time in New Mexico, that was great. And we went out on the town and I watched all the fights. You know, I coached Mikey and in the fight, I cornered him. After his fight, the guy that beat him in that fight in New Mexico, he came up, he shook my hand very humbly after he knocked out the kid that I was cornering, Mikey. And then he said, "Hey, man, I think we should match up one day." And I was like, "Hey, that would be a great match." You know, looking at his skill and his size. So it was kind of cool how, like, I don't know, you can kind of, if you're a smart competitor and a well dressed and how to speak to people, you can line up certain opportunities that you may or may not see down the line. Like I have met my opponent who I knocked out in Sturgis. I had met him because we fought on the same card in Manassas, Virginia. I met him. We fought on the same card. I said, "Hey, hopefully we can line up one day. I think we're gonna fight a good fight one day." And he's like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And then go figure. After my next Mohegan, that's what happened. You know, so
It all
I
kind
just
of
kind of
works.
planted the seeds. Yeah, you just planted the seeds a little bit, but you're not really doing it in a malicious way. Me, at least, I don't. I don't even. There's more guys. Most all the guys have come up to me and say, "Let's match up eventually." I think would be a great fight. You know, what am I supposed to say? I say, "Yeah, that'd be great. Let's do that." I always agree with it most of the time, uh, and I guess it's a blessing. A lot of guys want to fight me, and not even in a mean. They don't even hate me. They just want to fight me because I'm a great fighter, and I'm a nice guy. I don't take no I don't take no low shots at them. It's just an athletic competition. We're gonna put on a great show. I'm gonna try and kill you, and then after, hopefully we can have a chicken finger or whatever.
The real level approach to the game that it is a job, it is a sport, and it doesn't have to get personal.
I don't like it when it does. When it does, it was only happened one time. I shut it down right away. I didn't respond. I just ignored it fully. And eventually, when it was all over, when I won, I said something, but that was all I said. I saw him again in public in his home state. It was a handshake and how you doing, and that was that. And so I think most of the guys are very level headed in the back and in the organization. The BKFC is not signing any low ball, any scumbags. They're really careful and smart people. They're very smart people.
Fight was a huge victory. The trajectory is on the right path. And I think I saw that there were even big things for you happening before the fight? Did you get a day, a key to the city? Like big things are happening politically now, it looks like, for Zach Calmus.
Yeah, sharks in politics, and things are going great. I'm not political, but I'm a good guy. I'm a stand-up guy, and I'm also it's a story. You know, it's you see a guy who's hit the lowest of lows in life, and I have. Um, I spent time on probation. I've made mistakes in my youth. Um, that could have taken my life. You know, I got a DUI when I was like 18, flipped over the car. Nobody got hurt, but it's just the trajectory of what could have happened. And now at 33, I would never think about drinking or drinking and driving. So the two are out the window, never going to happen. But life lessons sometimes by knuckleheads are only learned through living. So I guess that's where it's at. That's where the true reward is. Not even in winning the fight in Sturgis. The real reward was just in making it to the next destination. Because I think at a time in my life when I was super lost, you know, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, like when does it end? When does the series of unfortunate events end for me? I felt like my life was a horror show. It was a bad story, and I didn't. I knew I was better than that. I knew I had more in me, and I knew that I could succeed. So this is the story of a listen, a overweight, disabled kid who was bullied beyond belief, that turned his pain inside, told the doctors, "You're all wrong. It's all I figured it out. I figured out how to live in this body." With gynecomastia and a big stomach and a lisp and an OCD and ADD and all these different medications, Risperdal, Xanax, Wellbutrin, Abilify. I mean, are you kidding me? You don't put a 14-year-old kid on this stuff. But you know, the pharmaceutical, big pharma is the most ridiculous thing in this country, and they'll pump kids full of drugs just to get the money, just to get the money. And they don't know what effect that's having on these kids later in life or even right then and there, you know. But that's what I went through, you know, and I went to two or three private schools, and all to come back and graduate from my home public school. And my mom at 18 sold the house, and she's had 5 or 6 properties since then, and never included me in her life. So with this choice to fight, I lost, but I gained. I lost half my family when I decided to fight. My mom's like, if you want to fight in somebody's rank, you go do that all on your own. And the pain of looking like someone and not being able to have that person in your life because you want to follow your dreams. I don't know what more barrel chested commitment there is to anything. I gave up everything for this dream and I chased it. And I went 5-18 as an amateur. Terrible, but I stuck with it. I don't even know why. I just knew that I had it. I knew it's crazy because bare knuckle is a dream. I talked about what if we could fight like a UFC ring with no gloves, just boxing, no takedowns, maybe light, dirty boxing would be cool. I had talked about that so many nights at home watching boxing and saying, wouldn't it be great if it was bare knuckle? And then when I found this, I mean, come on, my dreams had everything had connected. Kind of like the greatest things you don't have to search, pay for, and you have to find, and they find you too. So it's like everything that I love in my life is weird that when I was 15, all the thoughts, the person I wanted to be, that's the guy I am now. That's I'm exactly who I wanted to be at 15 as a
So,
kid, as a troubled youth.
so now really living the dream because you're making it come true, being who you want to be. And it sounded like all those multitude of reasons the bullying started at a young age.
Very young, maybe fourth grade, bullying started and it continued to like seventh grade. Sixth grade, I went to a private school, hillside school for boys. I played hockey. I had roommates. I was there 7 days a week. It was a learning disabled style school, and it really helped me get through some stuff. I met great friends. But when that ended, I went to like a real private school, and that wasn't equipped to deal with what I was going on with. and I got bullied real bad, and I ended up leaving that school. Went to another school in Connecticut, and I got kicked out. So for fist fighting, go figure. For fist fighting. So now to make my return to Connecticut to win a Mohegan Sun with fist fighting, it's kind of crazy. I always knew it was my destiny. I even told authority figures when I was younger, like, it really doesn't even fucking matter because at the end of the day, I'll just fight and I'll make money doing that. I always had good hands.
So this is kind of the path that you felt was always going to be yours. You somehow always envisioned that you would get to this place.
Yes, sir. I always figured I'd be in someone's ring fighting for money. That's all I'm good at. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. I'm not good at video games. I'm good at watching TV. There's no skill involved with that. Okay. I love Adam Sandler, I love Will Ferrell, Mel Gibson, just a few actors right there. But Joe Pesci, but like that generation, 80s, 90s, I just love that stuff. Early 2000 movies the best. Now this stuff really can't compare. But hopefully they're working on some things.
You need to go back and listen to some more of your interviews that you have out here because there's quite a few of them on the internet, and I think you're better at running lines and doing these speeches, putting yourself out there, being open, honest, and a motivational speaker. I don't know if you're like just downplaying it, but you got to see there's a not everybody is able to be this forthright, go into their story and to speak with it passionately so that people can see where you're coming from. You might not look at it as a talent because you're just speaking, but it's a natural talent.
Absolutely. I've realized it. I've never like considered it professionally, but I listen to Joey Diaz all the time, his podcast with Lee Syatt from Boston. And I just think they're amazing. He's impacted my whole life from hearing his stories and all everything, really just the life of being a comic, I realized. So I delved into that more to like, okay, the life of being an actor or the life of being a comic or an actor or anybody in Hollywood or entertainment in general. Can't even say Hollywood anymore because that's dying. But what I'm saying is the entertainment industry in general is brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. And like, yes, I'm in the entertainment industry, but it is also a real sport. I'm not acting. But what I realized that being an actor or comedian is a lot like being a fighter because you're gonna have a million doors shut in your face, whether it's gym doors, family doors, friendship doors. You're just gonna have metaphorical doors shut your whole life, and you're gonna have the willpower to open them and walk through.
You got to keep going to them. You make these sacrifices each time you get that door slammed in your face. Because you mentioned earlier, I don't know if everybody caught it and get fully into it. You said 6 hours of drive time. So I'm thinking you mean 3 hours in each direction for your new training facility, right?
Yes, sir. Three and a half about give or take. Sometimes the traffic's terrible. It takes me four and a half to get back. It's just bumper to bumper sometimes.
But every day, that's what you're doing for this commitment.
I do it on 2 days a week, and then I go one day for sparring. So it's like 2 to 3 days a week. But that's six, six. That's three. That's six, 12. That's 18 hours a week for 2 months.
That's definitely something, making that commitment and taking that journey. We know that up there on the East Coast, that can be good weather, bad weather. Like you said, bumper to bumper traffic, all sorts
It's
going
the
on.
worst highways too. I go up 128, I-84, and Mass Pike, and they're three terrible highways. So I usually leave at 3 a.m. for a 3.5 hour drive. So I usually get there at like 7 because there's accidents and police and people are idiots in the car. Everybody needs to slow down. Take my advice. I got a perfect driving record. I drive like a little old lady in cars. Zoom, zoom, zoom. And I got a fast car, but I don't drive it fast.
What is it about this new team, new coach, new training regimen? What is it about that you're enjoying?
Just having a team around me in general. Before I was meeting guys at different places for sparring. I was getting a lot of assistance from Blake Lacaze and West Monroe Boxing Gym, but I would have to get on a plane and stay down there a couple weeks to do that. This is the first time I've settled down since my amateur days, really, with a coach and a team. in a gym setting. So having a coach is the most important thing to being a fighter. Yeah, I don't care. Listen, if you think you can do it all on your own, you might be right. I've done it and I've won. I've fought and I've won all on my own. I did that at Mohegan. I had a driver, Rex, God bless Rex. I had the driver for BKFC and a friend of mine at the time's opponent whose fight fell through. I had a random work my corner. So I didn't even know who was there with me. But that doesn't matter because you're in the ring by yourself.
So it's definitely a
This
new dynamic having that team aspect, these consistent voices.
Well, it took me 3 rounds with that opponent at Mohegan, and I feel like this one was so much easier, and the opponent might or might not have been better. I'm not saying that, but I did it very convincingly. I didn't get hit at all in my face even once. So to not get hit at all and win a bare knuckle fight against a big man in front of all those people, it just felt like I was on top of the world.
And now you've done 15,000 people outdoors in Sturgis. I got to know what would be the dream venue for you to compete at now.
Fenway Park. I've met Pedro. He watches bare knuckle fighting championship. I met Pedro Martinez in the airport. He was like, "Yo, you the shark." He was staring right at me. And that's when I realized that we're really getting somewhere because the greatest watching Pedro play all through high school, just watching him win World Series after World Series for us. Meaning having him stare at me in the airport was a definite eye opener. And then asking him, do you know who I am? He's like, "Yeah, BKFC, you're shark," or whatever, something like that. That just felt great. I would love to fight at Agganis Arena. I've watched some great wrestling matches over there, and obviously the Garden. I mean, we got to fight at the Garden.
And I got to, as we're talking about venues, you brought up baseball real quick. There was a recent announcement next year to taking baseball to Bristol Speedway. They're going to do, I believe it's going to be the Braves and the Cincinnati Reds. I don't know why those two up there, but from somebody that's in that area, what do you think it's going to be like seeing baseball at that track?
I think it's going to be awesome. What more American is there? They got to do something to bring people to the games and get people excited about baseball again. The great American pastime. You know, when I grew up, we watched every game. When I grew up, we were watching every game. But times change and interests change, and I understand that. We're living in a hyper violent society. That's the reality. You go out to the supermarket, you shopping for some eggs, and the woman's staring me down, like staring me down like I'm a bad person. Now I looked at her first, like maybe she saw me in the paper and she's seeing us see if that's me, because that happens. But no, she was giving me the oogly eye. She was giving me the googly eye. She didn't like what she saw. She didn't approve of my jean shorts and my chains. And she thought she had me wrapped up in a bag. She knew this is a bad guy. You know what I mean? You know, long story short, uh, I never react to those people. I never ever react in a negative way because I'm just so used to scared people in society casting shadows on people for things that are way out of their control. I never look down on a person until there's something to look down on them for.
I hear you on that. There's way too much snap to judgment, judging the book by the cover and not even opening or looking deeper.
You see a guy limping down the street coming out of a convenience store. Oh, you think, oh, alcoholic. It's like, no, he went in there to get a Kit Kat bar and he lives in the apartment building right there and he just wanted to stretch his bum leg. He had no idea. He's not an alky. He actually just has a woke up and he's paralyzed. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? Though, like the things we don't know. We walk around like we just know everything. This person's speeding because they're a dickhead. This person's doing that because they're this way. It's like, all right, slow down a second. Maybe so, but maybe not. And that's also what's helped me get ahead in my career of fighting is that mindset. Like when everybody's speeding up, I slow down. When everybody's like, "Oh, I'm so tired. It's raining. It's cold." That's when I'm like, "Ah, fuck it. I gotta go for a run." I just like trained my brain. I don't want to sound like crazy, but like to do the opposite of what it feels. Because if you do that, then when you do feel that uncomfortable place in a fight or at work or in traffic, instead of like someone cutting you off and be like, "Fuck you, Degeneration X," you'll be like, "Oh no, hey, it's okay, it's okay." That's a lot better than going down the highway doing the whole, Mario Kart. I don't want to do that. I avoid it by slowing down, being like, "Oh, hey, it's all good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good." That slows people down because I don't want to fight. You know what I mean?
See, this, people, if you're not understanding it, is the very reason why Zach Calmus is a shark, because he's in that attack mode when he has to be. He's assessing and calm when he needs to be. That's why he's a shark.
Yeah. If you walk around all day with that shark, that attack mode, shit, there's 24 hours in a day. I can't be that guy all day. I gotta come home. I gotta come home and this is what's at home. You know what I mean? Prada and King and the television. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Hart, you know, ride along. Like this is my home. So it's important that that I keep that in perspective when I'm fighting. You know, right before I fought that big man, I looked out at the crowd and I smiled. I didn't even remember doing that, but I waved and then I just towed the line, and it was so natural, and I was so happy to do it that I really feel like we're getting somewhere. I waved to everybody, they waved back, and then I just kind of got right into it. It was like I don't know. I felt like I was about to play the drums or something. I was playing in a rock band or something. It was great. It was great.
More natural, more comfortable, and ascending every time we see you. Zach Calmus, appreciate you so much for again taking some time out to talk to me, sir.
I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate the show. And man, it's guys like you. We're the music, but you are the conductor. Without guys like you and great shows, great platforms, we don't get seen. Because I honestly, I'm not going to run a podcast. I'll go on podcasts. I'll co-host stuff. I I don't I don't see myself in that lane right now. I see myself, as driving in that lane, but not conducting that lane. But that's for professionals like you, and I really do appreciate you, man. I do.
Appreciate you. And yeah, just trying to help tell your guy's story and get every fighter out there. Greatest sports in the world, in my opinion.
Awesome. Well, have a great night.
You too, sir. Thank you again.